vision that no one else carries. And they believe it. Deep down, they know they're different. They walk into rooms and feel the energy shift. They can sense lies, feel pain that no one speaks about, hear a deeper rhythm in the chaos of the world. They're the ones people come to for advice, even if their own life isn't sorted. They're the ones who carry burdens they didn't choose, responsibilities they didn't ask for. They're the so-called chosen ones. But here's the dark truth nobody says out loud: the belief that you're special can become a prison if it's not partnered with action. The illusion of being chosen can make you lazy. It can make you wait. Wait for timing. Wait for opportunities. Wait for signs. You keep thinking something is going to break open for you just because you feel called. And while you're waiting, someone else with half your talent but twice your hustle is building, grinding, stacking wins. The reason so many gifted people are broke isn't because they lack intelligence. It's because they confuse identity with effort. Just because you feel destined doesn't mean you're doing the work. Just because you see yourself as a leader doesn't mean you've earned followers. Just because you're talented doesn't mean you've practiced enough to be excellent. And waking up is brutal. It means letting go of the idea that you're owed anything. It means realizing being chosen only gives you a bigger mountain to climb, not a shortcut. But if you can break through that illusion, if you can marry your belief with relentless work, there is nothing you can't do. That's when being chosen becomes powerful. That's when it becomes real. Most people don't understand what it feels like to carry the weight of being different. When you're chosen, when you've got that thing inside you that doesn't let you settle, doesn't let you fake it, doesn't let you stay asleep, you also carry the burden of being misunderstood. You feel like no one truly gets you. You see things other people ignore. You think on levels that most people never even touch. And that awareness creates distance. Not because you want to be better than others, but because you genuinely struggle to find people who can meet you on the same mental, emotional, and spiritual level. So what do most chosen ones do? They isolate. They pull back. They become lone wolves. They start to believe that no one can help them. No one can guide them. No one really understands what they're going through. And that belief becomes dangerous because it breeds limitation. You start to think your path has to be walked alone. You stop asking for help. You stop seeking mentorship. You stop being open to collaboration. And you don't realize you're building your own prison. Isolation might feel safe, but it's silently killing your growth. Because no matter how powerful your vision is, no matter how deep your insight goes, you can't do this alone. The world doesn't move because of single, isolated geniuses. It moves because of connection, because of networks, because of learning from those who've already walked the path. And when you keep everything inside, when you stay hidden, you're robbing yourself of progress. The pain of being chosen is real. But it doesn't have to mean you suffer alone. In fact, your next level is often locked inside someone else's perspective. One conversation, one mentor, one honest community. That's all it can take to shift your entire direction. But when you isolate, you cut off the flow. You block the feedback. You drown in your own thoughts. You convince yourself you're making progress just because you're thinking deeply, when in reality, you're stuck. And being gifted without being grounded is why so many chosen ones stay broke. You can be the smartest person in the room and still be the most unproductive. Why? Because talent creates comfort. Comfort creates pride. Pride creates procrastination. You start believing you can pull it off at the last minute. You wing it. You rely on your intuition, your flow, your gift, and you never train. You never build the muscle. And eventually, the world passes you by. You scroll through your feed and see people doing the things you dreamed of, people with less talent, less depth, less insight, but they're out there showing up, posting content, launching businesses, closing deals. And you feel angry. Not because they don't deserve it, but because deep down, you know you do, and you're watching yourself lose to someone who just decided to be consistent. The most dangerous belief a chosen one can hold is, I'm above the grind. That belief will keep you broke forever. Because life doesn't reward the gifted, it rewards the disciplined, the doers, the people who can suffer repetition, who can wake up and do the boring work over and over again until the breakthrough happens. The world remembers those who finish, not those who had potential. Gifted but undisciplined means you're constantly starting and never finishing. You have 100 notebooks, voice memos, ideas, plans, but no product, no execution. You talk more than you act. You imagine more than you implement. You dream big but play small. And here's the hard truth. No one's coming to save you because you're talented. Talent gets you in the door, but discipline builds the house. And if you don't master systems of time, of money, of thought, you'll always feel stuck. Not because you're not smart enough, but because you never learn how to manage your gift. Discipline is how the gifted get paid. Structure is how the visionary creates freedom. Routine is how the creative becomes powerful. This is what nobody told the chosen ones. They were told to follow the feeling, chase the spark, wait for inspiration. But the people who actually make impact, they show up whether they feel like it or not. So ask yourself this, are you being led by your gift or are you hiding behind it? Your talent doesn't make you exempt from the grind. It makes you responsible for mastering it. You were given something rare. Don't waste it on laziness masked as flow. Turn your gift into a weapon, not by waiting, by working relentlessly. There's a kind of war that most people never see. It doesn't involve bullets or bombs, but it's just as deadly. It happens in the mind. And for the chosen ones, this war is constant. It doesn't let up. The mind of a gifted person isn't quiet, it's loud. Ideas clash. Doubts multiply. Thoughts spiral. You're overthinking everything. You're constantly analyzing, second-guessing, comparing, calculating outcomes before they've even begun. And because you're so aware, so sharp, so tuned in, the battle hits you harder than it hits others. While most people can shrug things off, you feel everything. You replay conversations, critique your own ideas, break down every move you make until you're paralyzed by perfection. And that's the trap when you're chosen. Your mind becomes your battlefield. And if you don't learn how to fight in that space, it will sabotage everything you try to build. A lot of chosen ones don't fail because they're lazy or weak. They fail because they can't quiet their mind long enough to take action. They're stuck in loops of self-doubt and mental rehearsals. They talk themselves out of progress. They don't ship the idea. They don't post the content. They don't make the ask. Why? Because they're afraid. Afraid of failing. Afraid of succeeding. Afraid of being seen. This is why gifted people often seem frozen. They're not idle because they don't care. They're idle because their brain won't stop running simulations. And each time they imagine what could go wrong, it chips away at their courage. It becomes safer to stay stuck than to risk being seen, misunderstood, or judged. So they keep everything inside. Plans stay in journals. Dreams stay in their head. Years pass. Nothing changes. The voice inside a chosen one is relentless. It says, what if you're not ready? What if they laugh? What if you peak too soon? What if you try and fail again? And unless you've trained your mind to respond with power, that voice will win. That voice will keep you broke, not just in money, but in energy, in peace, in purpose. You need to understand this. Your thoughts are not always telling you the truth. Your mind isn't always your friend, not unless you train it. You can't let it run wild. You can't let fear become your advisor. You have to become the commander. You have to lead it, direct it, program it. Because if you don't, your gift will rot in the soil of indecision. Chosen ones must become warriors of the mind. You must practice silence, clarity, and courage every single day. Meditation, journaling, therapy, prayer, whatever it takes to calm the storm and find your center. Because no external enemy can destroy you like the war you refuse to fight within. The greatest prison is an untrained mind inside a powerful soul. Master your thoughts or be mastered by them. Rejection is the constant companion of the chosen ones. From a young age, they feel it. Not fitting in. Not being understood. Not being picked. Not being praised the way others are. They speak with depth, and people call it too much. They move differently, and others call them weird. They care too deeply, think too broadly, dream too boldly, and the world doesn't know what to do with that. So it pushes them away, labels them, dismisses them. That's how the path begins for many of the chosen, with the sting of rejection again and again. But what no one tells them is this. Rejection isn't a punishment. It's preparation. It's initiation. It's the universe saying you're not like the others. You're not here to blend in. You're here to break molds. But because no one explains that, the chosen ones start to internalize the no. They believe something is wrong with them. They take the silence personally. They start to shrink. They dim their light. They try to fit in, and when that doesn't work, they hide altogether. That's why so many chosen ones stay broke, not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, creatively. Rejection wounds them early, and instead of transforming that pain into power, they carry it like a scar. Every time they get close to stepping out, to speaking up, to launching that idea or claiming their space, the fear of rejection creeps back in. What if no one listens? What if they laugh? What if I'm not enough? So they play small. They settle. They aim lower than their calling. And it eats at them because deep inside, they know they were made for more. The frustration builds. The bitterness builds. They see others rise and wonder why it's not them. But they forget everyone who rose had to face rejection too. The difference is those who rise didn't run from it. They used it. Rejection isn't a red light, it's a rite of passage. It's life's way of shaping your resilience, sharpening your message, building your identity. If you're truly chosen, rejection won't be the end of you. It'll be the fire that refines you. It'll strip away the need to be liked. It'll kill the desire for approval. And when that dies, something else is born: freedom. You stop waiting to be picked. You stop waiting to be invited. You stop waiting for the nod. You choose yourself. You crown yourself. And that's the moment the whole game changes. Because once you're no longer afraid of no, you become unstoppable. You'll ask, you'll knock, you'll launch, you'll speak, you'll create. And even if people reject you again, it won't break you, it'll fuel you. The chosen ones weren't meant to be accepted by the crowd, they were meant to change it. But only if they stop letting rejection define them. The pain isn't the problem. It's the meaning you give it. Rejection didn't come to destroy you. It came to wake you up. So here we are at the edge. No more excuses. No more illusions. You've heard it all now. You know why the chosen ones are broke? Not because they aren't powerful, not because they lack potential, but because somewhere along the way they mistook the calling for a guarantee. They forgot that being chosen doesn't mean you win by default. It means you were picked to fight. And if you don't rise, if you don't train, if you don't execute, the world will bury your brilliance and never blink. This is your line in the sand moment. Either you keep hiding behind your gifts, overthinking, waiting, doubting, isolating, or you wake up and move. You start showing up messy. You start putting your work out even when it's not perfect. You commit to discipline, not just dreams.